Castle laundry was not a tidy domestic chore. It was filthy, heavy, and relentless labor. Every bedsheet, tunic, rag, and towel absorbed sweat, smoke, grease, and body dirt. Because people washed less often, clothing stayed dirtier for longer and needed brutal scrubbing. The worst items came from beds, kitchens, stables, and sick rooms. Bedding could be damp with sweat, lice, spilled ale, and chamber pot accidents. Kitchen cloths were loaded with fat, soot, and rotten food stains. Stable laundry carried horse sweat, dung splashes, and muddy straw. Infirmary linens were the most frightening because they could be soaked with blood, vomit, or fever sweat. Washing usually began with hauling water, which was exhausting before the scrubbing even started. Large castles needed many buckets because one tub of murky water turned foul almost immediately. Soap existed, but it was harsh, inconsistent, and often made from animal fat and lye. Strong lye could clean stains, but it also burned skin and ruined weaker fabric. Some cloth had to be boiled to loosen grease, kill insects, and cut through embedded smells. That meant laundry was hot, wet work done in smoke, steam, and splashing filth. The scrubbing itself was punishing because heavy wet cloth became difficult to lift and twist. Frozen weather made everything worse because wet hands and damp clothes quickly became numbing torture. Drying laundry was another problem because indoor smoke darkened fabric while outdoor air could stay too damp. In rainy weather, cloth could sour before it ever dried properly. That trapped smell of mildew and old smoke never fully disappeared from many garments. Fine linen for the elite needed gentler treatment, but servants still did the same backbreaking work. Expensive dyes could fade or bleed, so some garments demanded separate handling. Wool was especially troublesome because it shrank, stiffened, and held odors. Mattress covers, curtains, and tablecloths were huge, awkward items that took multiple people to manage. Laundry also spread lice and fleas if dirty and clean cloth were mixed carelessly. That is why sorting mattered almost as much as scrubbing. The lowest status workers often handled the filthiest pieces with little thanks and no comfort. Their backs, shoulders, and hands paid the price for the castle's appearance. Even when the cloth looked clean, smoke and old dampness often returned as soon as it re-entered the castle. So cleanliness in a castle was always temporary, partial, and expensive. The noble tablecloth at dinner might have been scrubbed by hands cracked open from lye that morning. The lord's bed curtains might look luxurious, while still carrying months of trapped smoke. Laundry reveals one of the biggest lies in romantic castle imagery. Beautiful interiors depended on unseen workers boiling, hauling, sorting, wringing, and freezing for hours. Without them, beds would stink faster, vermin would spread faster, and disease would spread wider. So the real story of castle clothing and linen was not elegance, but constant war against filth. In other words, castle laundry was a brutal system that scrubbed the image of luxury onto a very dirty world.